the 2026 State of the City Address. I am Justin Spate, President of Green City Council. Tonight, I am pleased to call this special City Council meeting, the 2026 State of the City Address, to order. Per the City Charter, the Mayor is asked to provide an annual presentation to Council with regards to the state of the city and looking forward at the year ahead. This is the only business for tonight's meeting. Please silence your cell phones, rise, and remain standing for the presentation of our nation's colors by the nationally ranked Green High School Air Force Junior ROTC Color Guard, commanded by Cadet Second Lieutenant Bella McCutcheon, and the Pledge of Allegiance led by Cadet Technical Sergeant Matthew Hollingsworth. States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Thank you, cadets, for that professional display. You make us all very proud. Let's give them a round of applause, please. Also, thank you to all who assisted in tonight's event, including Saya Uejima, Green High School Junior and Green Student Municipal Representative, for sharing your wonderful musical talent this evening. Green High School video production students who are assisting with this production and live stream, our Green Mayor's Junior Council student municipal representatives who greeted you at the door. Thank you to Green High School for the use of this beautiful auditorium and the assistance of staff members. Also, thank you to Gregory Hoffmeister for your dedication to our community and your hard work helping to prepare for this evening. A special thank you to the Green Historical Society for their assistance with research and providing the beautiful items on this stage. And finally, on behalf of the Mayor, Yeargin, and the Green City Council, I want to thank our city administrative staff who assisted in organizing and facilitating this wonderful event. I'd like to take a moment to recognize the elected officials with us in the audience tonight. Our Ohio State Representative, Jack Daniels. State Auditor, Keith Faber. Summit County Executive Eileen Shapiro, Summit County Court of Common Pleas Judge Chris Croce, Summit County Court of Domestic Relations Judge Katriana Cook, our amazing City of Green Law Director Lisa Carey Dean, New Franklin Mayor Steve Rector, and to our Green Local School Board members, Bob Campbell, Katie Stoyanoff, Eric Chinaki, Nick Finelli, and Dave Cohen. And to our superintendent, Mr. Jeff Miller, and Assistant Superintendent Alana Nemec. With us this evening, we also have a representative from the office of U.S. Senator John Husted and a representative of the office of U.S. Representative Amelia Sykes. And finally, your 2026 City Council members in attendance include Vice President Mr. Gerard Neugebauer, Mr. Clark DeVitas, Mr. Chris Humphrey, Mr. C.J. Mager, and Mr. Richard Brandenburg. Mr. Jeff Noble was unable to attend in person this evening. At this time, please help me in welcoming your mayor, Mr. Rocco Yeargin.
Good evening, City Council, distinguished guests, friends, neighbors, and residents of Greene. 2026 begins a year-long celebration of the 250th birthday of the United States of America. Greene and hundreds of communities throughout our nation are sharing their stories. So what would be a more apt title for this year's State of the City than Our Story? Each year we add a new chapter, new highlights, new challenges, and new accomplishments to the history book of Greene. So let me begin with an introductory story, a prologue of sorts. If we've had a conversation, I've probably asked you where you're from, or where's your current town. The truth is, I love an origin story, and there isn't anything that says more about a person than where they're from. So our story tonight starts on a small farm on Greensburg Road, on the far east end of town, just before Greentown. The year is 1829. Ohio is still the western frontier, and Native American tribes like the Shawnee and the Wyandot still live in parts of the state. And Greensburg Road is just a narrow, dusty road full of ruts caused by wagon wheels. On July 24th of that year, a little boy named Lewis Miller is born on a log cabin farmhouse in that spot. Unfortunately, he's born in a time of tragedy because just after his birth, his mother passes away. And in 1829, the odds were stacked against an infant without a mother. But fortunately for him, across the street on Greensburg Road, his aunt by marriage lived. And she happened to be 8 months pregnant and therefore was the ideal person to nurse him and essentially save his life. Her name was Elizabeth Buchtel York. And she was sister of a young man named John R. Buchtel, a name that many of you may be familiar with. Now I'm going to come back and circle back to the Buchtel family in a minute, but for now, I want you to just walk with me through the story of Lewis. As a boy, Lewis was curious. He was inventive. He was determined. He was that kid in class, I imagine, who always had his hand up, annoying the teacher. You know the kid, always asking why not. Around the farm, he took that inventive spirit with him. He was always looking for ways to improve life on the farm, always tinkering with things. As he grew, his propensity for invention grew with him. And by the mid-1850s, something really extraordinary happened. His combination of farm experience, his spirit of invention, some exposure to the machining process, all against the backdrop of the Industrial Revolution, created the perfect storm. Because by the mid-1850s, Lewis Miller invented a new farm implement that revolutionized farming across the country. True to his home state, he called it the Buckeye Mower and Reaper. And this thing was wildly successful. Didn't take long before he took himself and his partners to Akron, and they established a very successful factory that actually put Akron on the map as part of the Industrial Revolution and paved the way for the next great industry, which would be the tire and rubber industry. Well, by the time it was all said and done, in Lewis Miller's career, believe it or not, he authored 92 patents. His likeness hangs in the Inventors Hall of Fame. And while he's known as being kind of a king of the Industrial Revolution. In fact, he would one day become father-in-law to Thomas Edison. His real passion was education. He believed that an informed and educated electorate were essential to democracy. He fed that passion in three important ways. He was a champion of childhood education by developing a curriculum and actually an architecture for church buildings that was designed to teach students where they were at. And I say church because remember, this is the 1850s, and public schools weren't well established, so churches helped with the education of the populace. His plan was called the Akron Plan, and it was copied by churches throughout the country. Secondly, he was a strong advocate for college education. He wanted to bring college education to the farmers and their families of Northeast Ohio. So he became a trustee of Mount Union College. Twice in the early years of the college, he saved the college from bankruptcy with his own funds. And it was as a result of his influence that Mount Union College became one of the very first colleges in the United States to admit women on the same basis as men. But his real passion was about lifetime learning because he was that person. And he wanted to put, if you will, the machinery in place for everybody to become a lifelong learner. So he established with one other person, this guy from Greene, the Chautauqua Institute of New York, which, as you might know, was a gathering place for art, science, culture, and faith. And again, through his influence, because he believed in inclusion, it became a springboard for the women's suffrage movement. Now, that's a lot of impact for one life. But before I put a cap on this, I want to come back to the Buchtel family for just a minute. Remember the family that saved Lewis's life when he was a baby. Well, John R. Buchtel and Lewis Miller were lifetime friends. You can imagine why. And like Lewis, John was a poor, uneducated farmer. In fact, the history books say when he was 18, he couldn't hardly read or write. But he was a really good talker. And he could sell him some Buckeye mowers and reapers. And he climbed through the business and became a business partner with Lewis Miller. Together, through that industry, frankly, they became wealthy together. But like Lewis, John's real passion was education. And while Lewis was out saving Mount Union, John was looking for how to bring a college to Akron. And some of you know the story. He was successful. It was called Buchtel College. And that school would one day become the University of Akron. Around that time, the governor of Ohio, Rutherford Hayes, was looking to create yet another school. He actually tapped both Lewis Miller and John Buchtel to be on a commission to lay out the buildings and develop the curriculum for a school called the Ohio Agricultural and Mechanical College. It's a lot of words, but let me help you. It became known to be the Ohio State University. And because he also had this ecumenical desire for people to have knowledge on a wider basis, just as Lewis Miller believed in Chautauqua, John Buchtel's thing was to invest in the library. And he was one of the earliest supporters of the Akron Public Library. In fact, there's a plaque to his honor at our branch library. I want you to just step back with me and think for a minute about the vast influence of these couple farm boys from Greene. In addition to their great influence in the Industrial Revolution, consider that Mount Union College, the University of Akron, the Akron-Summit County Library, the Ohio State University. I know you want to do it. OH. And even the Chautauqua Institute of New York. All trace in part their roots to Greene, Ohio. In other words, the path to all of these institutions and their vast influence runs right through Greensburg Road. Our Greensburg Road. So why do these stories matter to Greene? because they make us unique. They reflect our homegrown values. They tell the world who we are and define our particular place in history. Like our exceptional park system, our one-of-a-kind destination restaurants, and even the circular rhythm of our roads, and you know what I mean. Our history is part of the broader unfolding narrative that makes Green special. And it's those special things about a place, sometimes even the quirky things, the unique blend of things to see, people to know, and stories to tell that make a place a home. So as we celebrate the 250th anniversary of our great nation, sharing stories such as these remind us of what defines this thing called the American experiment. Today, 126 years after Lewis Miller passed, Green continues to be a place that embodies progress and improvement while passing on time-honored values. A place where families put down roots, where businesses grow, where we continue to shape the region through innovation and partnership. A place recently recognized by Ohio Magazine as one of the very best hometowns. So tonight we have a special guest, Jim Vickers, editor of Ohio Magazine. Jim, if you can come up, he is asked to share just a few words. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Hello, everyone. Happy to see everybody tonight. This is a beautiful place. I've never been in this school, and it's absolutely wonderful. My name is Jim Vickers. I'm the editor of Ohio Magazine, and the thing we talk about in the office all the time is beauty, adventure, and fun. That's what we share. We're a travel and lifestyle magazine, and people often ask me, how in the world do you never run out of stories to write about? And I'm so glad that stories are the theme tonight of your talk so far, because stories are kind of our thing, you know. We love telling stories, and the reason we don't run out of stories is places like Green, Ohio. You know, I often say that the things that make life in Ohio so great are the qualities that you'll find in our best hometown communities. And every fall, we recognize 5 towns across the state, spread out, you know, from one edge to the other. Because the truth is, people in Toledo don't often know what's going on in Marietta, and people in Cincinnati may have never been to Ashtabula, but they probably want to. So part of the best hometowns is sharing the stories of wonderful communities, but it's also inspiring people to go visit them and learn about them, and maybe even move there. So, you know, we've been doing this since 2006, and we've been telling stories of Ohio for almost 50 years. But the best hometowns is really the thing we spend the most time on each year. We ask for nominations in the spring, and then we sit down and go through all the nominations and discuss them, for way longer than anyone could probably imagine. And we really make cases for the towns we like and the nominations that we think are really strong, and then we'll come and visit and kind of experience the place like a local. Sometimes we'll do that before we even tell you we're coming. And then we'll schedule a visit, and as we did when our team members came last summer, and your mayor showed us around, and we had a wonderful time. And you know, the thing about Green is it's not your usual best hometown candidate. A lot of them are old towns, county seats. There's an established downtown. So a lot of times when we started talking about Green, we were like, what's the Green story? And the more we dug into it, the more we found. And I love this story you started with tonight here. I wish I would have known that for the story, to be honest with you. It's so great. And we found a really special community. And, you know, we come to these events because we want to recognize the towns. And sometimes we'll do a talk like this at a festival or a State of the City like tonight. And it's really important for us to come and be part of the celebration because a lot of times people will thank us for recognizing their town, but part of why I'm here is to thank all of you for creating a great community like Green. And, you know, just wanted to give you a few thoughts off the top of my head that struck us. You know, thank you for your friendliness. It was wonderful coming and meeting you and spending time in your city and coming back and shooting photos, and it was really a pleasurable experience to get to know everybody. Thank you for, you know, you're creating places to gather. The parks are beautiful. The community spirit is palpable. All those images that were up there before the talk, you can see the happiness on people's faces, and you can see this is the kind of community that people would desire to be part of. thank you for your great places to eat. We enjoyed that when we visited. Thank you for your really strong sense of where you're going and, the kind of community you want to create for your friends, your family in the future. So without any other ado, I'd like to present a small token of our appreciation, which is the framed cover that we sent to all the subscribers in this region that features green. So I'm going to present this to your mayor, and when people see this cover or read about our stories about green that we've written already and the ones that we will write in the future, we hope that they realize that they are truly visiting one of Ohio's best hometowns and best places to live. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate you. We'll pretend like a picture. Very good. Take care.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Jim, and the Ohio Magazine team. I had the great privilege of giving the editorial team a personal tour last summer, showing how the city born of 5 hamlets, instead of a single historic downtown, has built something even more powerful, a community with pride, purpose, and a growing sense of identity. Part of that identity, of course, has long been caught up in something deceptively simple, our zip code. Or rather, the absence of a unified zip code. Since the 1960s, when the zip codes were assigned, Greene has shared mailing addresses with Akron, Uniontown, Clinton, North Canton, seems like the list goes on. I don't need to explain to this crowd how all the confusion this has caused. That's why for the last 20 years we've tried to fix it. And finally this year, I'm pleased to report that we're making real progress. In April, legislation was introduced in the U.S. House and passed in July, thanks in part to our Representative Amelia Sykes. We have a short video of Representative Sykes sharing Greene's story on Capitol Hill to the United States Congress.
Today I rise in support of H.R. 395, a bill that would assign a new zip code to the city of Greene, a municipality within Ohio's 13th congressional district. Establishing unique zip codes may not be what most folks think about when they are considering federal legislation. However, for the citizens and businesses and economy of the city of Greene, Ohio, it is in fact a matter of importance and priority. During the Greene State of the City address earlier this year, Mayor Rocco Yeargin proclaimed that he would actively engage towards working to get the city of Greene a zip code, a unique zip code. I promised the mayor at the State of the City that I would work with him hand in hand after several unsuccessful attempts to do so. We are now closer to that reality upon the passage of H.R. 3095. The city of Greene currently operates under 5 different zip codes, none of which bear the city's name. This situation has led to confusion, lost tax dollars, and a diminished sense of unity among residents and businesses. Aligning the zip code designation within the city's name will enhance community cohesion and promote a stronger civic identity.
I'll tell you, watching that clip of Greene being named on the floor of the U.S. House still gives me pause. There's something powerful about hearing our name spoken aloud at that level. For me, personally, it evokes a type of local patriotism, a sense of pride moored exclusively in belonging to our community. The name attached to our home carries weight. It signals a brand. It affirms our story, the story of a spunky little town nestled between Akron and Canton that punches above its weight class. Today, the bill sits in the U.S. Senate. We know navigating it through the Senate will be an uphill battle, which is why we've joined forces with other cities named in the bill and partnered with a Washington, D.C. lobbyist to push it forward. Through these partnerships, I had the privilege to meet with Senator John Husted and Senator Bernie Moreno's key staff in early November. They were receptive to a unified zip code for Greene, but there's still a long way to go to make this a reality. So now we need your help. Both residents and business leaders alike, your voice matters. We're asking you to reach out to our U.S. Senators, Bernie Moreno and John Husted, and share why having a single zip code matters to you. To make it easy for you, we have a simple form on our website to gather letters of support. We need you to tell your story about what a single zip code would mean to you, your business, and our community. Because it's your voice that can help us get this across the finish line. Now, while we wait on Washington, we've already got something to celebrate. As of September, the U.S. Post Office notified us that every address in Greene can now officially use Greene, Ohio as the preferred city name. It may seem like a small win, but it's a meaningful one. So if you haven't already, use Greene when you write your address. If you're a Greene business, change your address on your website to Greene. After all, let's make it known. We're Greene. But Greene's identity is more than a zip code or a magazine feature. Businesses and real estate agents talk about location, but what really defines Greene? It's our award-winning parks, our top-rated schools, our airport, the Portage Lakes, 5 golf courses, the Maps Air Museum, and our destination restaurants that bring people back again and again. This is the foundation of the visitor economy, the services and experience that bring people in and keep them coming back. And as it grows, so does our city's economic strength. More visitors mean more dollars spent locally, more demand for services, more jobs, and ultimately more opportunities and benefits for our residents. But it's not just about dollars. These same features also fuel our community pride. These things that make Greene worth visiting are the same things that make it worth calling home. They are what help us tell our story and invite others to become a part of it. If we define our identity through the eyes of a visitor, Greene becomes more than a spunky little city between Akron and Canton. It becomes a destination, a place people want to spend time, a place they want to move to, because cities that are truly growing aren't defined by population alone. They grow in experiences, in services, and in opportunity. So I challenge you to pause and look at your city as if a visitor. When families or friends come to visit, where are the places that you like to take them? What restaurants? What parks? What amenities? Then let's dream about what's missing. What one thing, what one small step can we take as a community to elevate Greene? This is our story that's unfolding before us. That's why, in collaboration with the Greene Community Improvement Corporation, we are seeking proposals to launch a destination marketing study. This effort will help us clearly define and share what makes Greene a place worth visiting, investing in, and ultimately calling home. Simply put, when we tell our story well, everyone benefits. So speaking of investment, one of the clearest signs of a thriving community is when new businesses choose to put down roots here. And over the past year, Greene has welcomed some exciting additions, including the following: 7 Brew, the Industry Restaurant, Bronco's Barbershop, Devil Strip Barbershop, and Bath & Body Works. There were also several industrial businesses that moved to Greene. Those include Hilscher Clark Electric, which backfilled 1/2 of the former Tradeful building, located across from Twisted Olive. The other half of the building is now home to Payco Pilot. Around the corner on Global Gateway, Atlantic Seafood moved into a former Diebold warehouse. And at CAK, Foxtrot Aviation Services filled available hangar space. School and office furniture retailer, Today's Classroom, has moved to Greene as well. And some exciting businesses are on the horizon, including the much requested Chick-fil-A. Approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission in November, Chick-fil-A plans to construct a new restaurant in front of Target at the former Crazy Chicken location. While the timeline for construction hasn't been finalized yet, I know what you're thinking, our planning and engineering teams are working with Chick-fil-A and Target to address traffic concerns. As a city administration, we take great pride in how we plan for growth and development, which directly impacts how Greene will look, feel, and connect in the years ahead. Back in 2024, we began updating our comprehensive plan, the roadmap for Greene's future. And last year, that process brought forward a new area of focus: public art. Believe it or not, art is an important driver of development. It often helps define our identity because it reflects who we are. Art also drives placemaking, creating aesthetically pleasing places where people want to gather, giving residents yet another reason to love their city a little bit more. We are currently in the middle of developing our public arts plan for Greene. So in collaboration with our art consultants, we're seeking resident input. If you stop by the hallway on my right, on your way into the auditorium, you would have encountered our public art personality quiz. This cleverly disguised survey gathers feedback from residents, then informs them of their public art personality. Mine is a pioneer. Thank you to everyone who has shared their input in this survey. And if you haven't already, please stop by on your way out to find your public art personality. And just so you know, I'm looking for my people. I'm seeking fellow pioneers. Regardless of how you share your input, the plan in part is to commission a public art installation based on what we learn. As we invest in our identity and share our story, know that we are safeguarding the foundation beneath it all. Because strong communities don't just dream big, they manage wisely every day. Last year, Shelley Goodrich stepped in as our new finance director. Shelley is both a CPA and an attorney who joins Green with an extensive career in government finance. So let me introduce Finance Director Shelley Goodrich to share our 2025 financials and how we're planning ahead.
Hello, I'm Shelley Goodrich, Finance Director for the City of Green. I've truly enjoyed my time here in Green so far. I've been welcomed with open arms by both our dedicated staff and the public, and it's been an honor to step into this role and continue the strong financial stewardship this city is known for. Today, I'd like to give you a high-level overview of where the city stands financially, with a focus on 2025 revenues, expenditures, and our overall financial position, and to place those results in the context of the broader fiscal environment cities across the country are facing. In 2025, the city generated $30.6 million in income tax revenue. In addition, other revenues totaled $20.7 million, bringing total revenues for the year to $51.3 million. Overall, income tax collections increased by $550,000 compared to 2024, representing a 1.83% increase. That growth is certainly good news and reflects continued economic activity within the city. At the same time, it's important to recognize that revenue growth trends have slowed both locally and nationally. After the strong post-pandemic rebound that many cities experienced, revenue trends are beginning to normalize. This plateauing of growth is something finance officers across the country are seeing, and it reinforces the need for careful planning and conservative forecasting. Even with positive revenue growth, the city, like many households and businesses, is facing cost pressures that are outpacing revenue increases. Inflation continues to affect the cost of goods and services, employee wages and benefits are rising, operating costs remain elevated, and tariffs have increased the cost of certain materials and equipment. These pressures are not unique to Green. They are affecting cities nationwide and have required governments to take a more disciplined and strategic approach to spending. Because of these realities, the city has been reining in expenditures where possible, closely evaluating spending decisions, and prioritizing essential services. Turning to expenses, operating costs totaled $47.2 million in 2025. While this is an increase, it reflects the real-world economic conditions and unavoidable cost drivers, rather than uncontrolled spending growth. Despite these challenges, I'm pleased to report the city closed the year in a very strong financial position, ending 2025 with a reserve balance of $21.7 million. In closing, the City of Green remains financially sound, but we are approaching the future with a measured and disciplined mindset. Revenue growth is more modest, cost pressures remain real, and prudent financial management is more important than ever. Our focus continues to be on maintaining strong reserves, managing costs responsibly, and ensuring that taxpayer dollars are used efficiently, while continuing to deliver the high level of services our residents expect and deserve. Thank you for your time, for your trust, and for your continued support of the City of Green. I look forward to serving this community and keeping you informed about the city's financial health in the years ahead.
I want to thank our finance director for that overview. It's reassuring to know that behind every project and service, there's a steady hand guiding our city's long-term fiscal health. And by the way, Shelley has really raised our fashion at the city. She has the best glasses every day. That was just one pair. You should see the others. Let's go ahead. You can clap for that. I aspire to be her. While last year didn't see us breaking ground on any major road construction, our engineering team and consultants remained hard at work planning for what's next. This summer, construction will begin on the 2-year Arlington Road widening project. Similar to the changes we made on Massillon Road North, Arlington Road will be widened from just south of State Route 619 to 2 lanes in each direction with the center median and roundabouts at Southwood and Bettler Roads. There will also be a multi-purpose path on the east side and sidewalk on the west. Federal grants fund 80% of this $17 million project and will be our last major corridor improvement for some time. So yes, this year we are building more roundabouts. And whether you love or hate them, Green is leading the way in more efficient, safer intersections in Northeast Ohio. Thanks to City Engineer Paul Pickett and his team for leading this charge. And another project, one most residents won't notice until it's complete, is the roadway extension connecting Southwood to Tabbs Drive. Last year, we completed a short segment to Goldenwood Way. And with this final phase, Arlington Road will fully connect all the way through to Tabbs. Once finished, this new route will improve connectivity for more than 600 homes and create another link between the Massillon Road and Arlington business districts. What I appreciate most about these projects isn't just the roads we build, but the connections we create through sidewalks and paths. Walkable neighborhoods and corridors, physical connections, are desired now more than ever. While the late 20th century focused heavily on car-centric development, today we're seeing a strong return to walkable communities as a defining amenity. Something people truly value when choosing where to live, work, and gather. Now, of course, a city of our size will never be entirely walkable, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't keep moving in that direction. Like former Mayor Neugebauer, I believe in the power of connected communities. That means creating practical, safe alternatives to driving, especially between neighborhoods and our business districts, something both residents and visitors alike desire. This year, we'll continue repaving key residential streets as part of our annual maintenance while adding a small section of sidewalk on South Main Street at Alderwood Hills Drive. This stretch of sidewalk is only 375 feet long, but it's these small connectors sometimes that over time expand walkability, support local businesses, and make Green a more accessible, welcoming place. Our community strength also comes from how we care for one another. Green Fire responded to nearly 5,400 calls last year, an increase of over 6%. We also sadly saw a rise in suicide, reflecting a troubling trend countywide. At the beginning of last year, we hired a part-time, independently licensed social worker, Layla Haleh, through a One Ohio Foundation grant. The idea was to better help our residents before, during, and after a mental health crisis. Adding a mental health professional to our outreach team could not have come at a more needed time. Layla has already played a vital role in helping families navigate some of life's most difficult moments, and her impact and importance continue to grow.
One issue that we have in the fire service is an issue with how to successfully deal with mental health patients. We have great compassion and concern for those in our community that are struggling with mental health issues, and it's just that our EMS system is not optimized to help them get definitive care with just a ride to the hospital. Out of this frustration or this need to do something, I'm excited to share with you that we've developed a new program. And through this program, we've hired a new part-time employee, Layla Haleh, a licensed independent social worker with a PhD and a chemical dependency license, to help us follow up after the fact with our patients whose 911 calls included mental health concerns. Our goal is to use Layla's expertise to help these patients engage with already established community resources and to address the issues of substance use, compliance with treatment and follow-up, and all the associated social determinants of health, things like food insecurity, access to health care, and their housing and living environment. Layla's expertise has allowed us to expand and improve our Go Team outreach efforts as they follow up with our overdose and substance abuse patients. She obtained a grant for medication lockboxes that can be used to help family members secure their medications. She trained the fire department staff on effective interactions with our autistic population using a donation from Ron Marhofer Hyundai of Green to outfit our medic units with sensory equipment for these patients. Our program has made great strides in its first year. Her 121 successful follow-up visits has led to better care and better outcomes for many patients across our community. Our goals for 2026 include instituting a medication-assisted treatment program for opiate addiction, developing a peer support program through the IAFF for our professional firefighting staff, and working with our community partners to address the issues of suicide and suicide prevention. Thank you.
From our community paramedics to the GO team and outreach services, our fire division sets an example in problem solving and facing bold, forward-thinking solutions that respond to real needs with compassion and innovation. Thank you, Chief Fanai and the entire team for leading with both courage and care. That commitment to care isn't just a philosophy. It plays out in real life-changing moments across our city every single day. For example, in July, when an expectant mother collapsed on the street in cardiac arrest, her 13-year-old stepson quickly called 911, and a nearby neighbor and passersby immediately began CPR. Thanks to their quick thinking and the skilled response of our fire medics, both mother and baby survived. Baby Noah was born early, but arrived home in October. It was a powerful moment when Mom and her family stopped by to thank the team that saved their lives. It was truly a community effort that resulted in this double rescue. I love this part of our story. Just as our fire medics exemplify quick action and compassion, our Summit County Sheriff's Office continues to be a steadfast partner in keeping Greene safe. With safety as a guiding priority, we're taking intentional steps to enhance security at community events and at city buildings. One such step begins this month as our sheriff's deputies transition their primary workspace to the Central Administration Building. Now, they'll continue to maintain offices at Fire Station Number 2 just for private interviews, individual custody space, and vehicle storage, but establishing their main hub at the cab strengthens collaboration between city staff and our deputies, ensuring faster coordination, deeper trust, and a more unified approach to public safety. Thank you to Sheriff Fothery, Chief Brown, Captain McCutcheon, and all of our Greene deputies for your service and commitment to the residents of Greene. I look forward to seeing you in the cab and getting to know our deputies more personally. Now let's turn to something that brings joy to residents of all ages, our parks. 2025 was a banner year. On November 15th, we officially opened the core, our most significant investment in a city facility to date. In just 2 short months since opening the doors, the Center of Recreation and Education is already fulfilling a big need in our community, an indoor recreation space for everyone from kids to seniors. In the early evenings and on Saturdays, you'll find youth basketball, baseball, soccer teams. They're all training on the courts and the turf while adults of all ages walk and sometimes run the elevated track. We're continuing to build out our adult group fitness offerings, fine-tuning the schedule and class mix, and already participation is strong. This is only the beginning. With this newest addition, our focus is shifting from purchasing land and expanding park acres to filling in and enriching our existing parkland. So for the near future, this means smaller, high-impact projects will define our park's capital investments. For example, this year we're adding public restrooms at Kriegbaum Park. Believe it or not, public restrooms rank high on the list of amenities desired by residents and park visitors. As a city administration, we're also intentional about pursuing grant funding and partnerships that stretch our capital dollars further. In addition to our ongoing collaboration with Greene local schools on the core, we also successfully leveraged the following grants and partnerships. On Arbor Day, we dedicated the Willowdale Trail, an almost 1-mile extension and loop from Bettler and Southgate Parks to Coons Road. Supported 100% by grant funding, including ODNR and state capital funds, this trail is the first connector to a future multi-purpose trail between our parks. Now, this is a beautiful trail. And if you've not walked it, or yet, even if you have, I invite you to join me on Friday, May 29, as part of my Mayor's Morning Meetup events. These meetups are designed to be informal gatherings for anyone who wants to share ideas, voice concerns, or to simply have a conversation. This year, I'm taking these meetups on the road, visiting a different park or location each time, and I hope that you'll join me. In June, we opened the Kleckner Adaptive Sports Field, which was also paid entirely by grants, sponsorships, and the partnership with the Cal Ripken Senior Foundation. The foundation constructed the field as part of their ongoing mission to provide active spaces for youth of all abilities. It is their first adaptive field in all of Ohio. This year, we're adding a new pavilion to the park, a project initiated by Green Leadership Class 4, which has already raised more than $14,000 for this new gathering space. And last summer marked our second summer concert series presented by Sarah Auto Park. These free, friendly family live music events are becoming the highlight of the summer season, and I'm especially proud of our Parks Division staff for making them such a great success. When I first ran for office, I heard from many residents about Central Park. Specifically, folks told me that the amphitheater felt underused. Well, I took that to heart, and today I'm proud to say that's no longer the case. Nearly every day in the summer now features something happening at the park. Whether it's a movie, live music, free yoga, or children's entertainment. Much of the programming, including our summer concert series, is made possible thanks to the generous support of our community sponsors. A heartfelt thank you to our 2025 sponsors and to those already committed to this year. Just like tonight's event, we're also planning to ramp up the America 250 theme at our signature special events, including Freedom Fest, Artapalooza, and Twisted Wilderfest. If you've never attended one of these events or it's been a while, I hope you can join us as we celebrate our nation's birthday all year long. I started this parks discussion talking about facilities, including the core and restrooms. So I'd be remiss not to mention another important collaboration with Green Local Schools that is set to open later this year. The joint bus garage and storage building with public restrooms at Kleckner Park. The old outdated school bus garage was demolished to make way for a modern complex that will include 5 family restrooms designed with special needs kids in mind and additional storage for City of Green parks. Once again, we're leveraging partnerships to save taxpayers money while providing high-quality facilities and services for our community. And even when these restrooms open, every one of Green's active parks will have permanent public restrooms. So let me pause to offer a heartfelt thank you to Service Director Valerie Wax-Carr, Deputy Service Director Chrissy Lingenfelter, Parks Planning Administrator Mike Elkins, the core management staff Zach Kaufman and Katie Jaworski, and the entire Parks team for their outstanding work this past year. Thank you. I also want to extend my sincere gratitude to Jeff Miller, Assistant Superintendent Alana Nemec, and our school board for their continued partnership. While we are separate entities, we share a common responsibility: serving our community and being good stewards of taxpayer dollars. By working together, I don't get tired of saying that, by working together, we're not only saving money, we're delivering smarter, more efficient solutions for our residents. That kind of collaboration truly makes a difference. The opening of another schools is another achievement worth celebrating. In August, 2 brand new school buildings and a fully renovated Green Primary School opened on time and under budget. These new schools not only enrich the learning experience of every child in Green, but they also strengthen our community's appeal to families moving in. When I first stepped into the new Green Elementary building, I was struck by how much school design has improved to reflect modern learning styles. Where classrooms once had rows of desks facing forward, like this mock classroom behind me, today you'll find flexible pods, cozy nooks, and open seating areas designed for small group or one-on-one construction. Even the library is without traditional walls, encouraging students to explore and collaborate as part of everyday learning. I believe our education trailblazers, Lewis Miller and John Buchtel, would be proud of how our schools continue to grow, improve, and inspire. Every accomplishment and story I've shared tonight represents just the highlights of what we achieved this past year. And if time allowed, I'd share a lot more. But I'm guessing none of you are hoping to stay here till 10 p.m. So let me leave you with just a few final stories, rapid fire fashion. CAK, everyone's favorite hometown airport, is flying higher than ever. It now has 24 direct flights, the most ever in its history. Last year, travelers increased by 23.5% over the prior year, which is also a 12.5 increase over pre-pandemic levels. In addition, CAK is now home to the first Midwest crew base for Breeze Airways, which brings jobs and 3 stationed aircraft to Green. Last summer, we tested our first rickshaw rides in Central Park with some of our senior residents. You know, at first I thought the highlight would be the simple joy of our seniors telling me that it felt like riding a bike again, feeling the wind in their hair again. But I was wrong. What stood out were the conversations afterward. Many shared how beautiful the park was and that they hadn't even known it was there. These rides turned out to be much more than a pleasant afternoon outing. They opened our parks to residents who otherwise wouldn't have the chance to enjoy them. In November, we recognized our Volunteer of the Year, John Pearsall, president of the Green Soccer Association. And for over 30 years, and still going strong, John and his team of dedicated volunteers have not only built a thriving youth soccer program, but have also made it accessible to all. With their GOAL program, they've opened the game to kids living with disabilities, and through scholarships and free gear, they've ensured that financial hardship is never a barrier to play. Our Grade 8 race series, powered by our top sponsor, Toth Buick GMC, raised more than $250,000 this past year alone, bringing the 5-year total to more than $600,000 for local organizations. In November, remember this, when SNAP benefits were stalled? Our community pulled together, led by the Blessings in a Backpack team, to provide food to families and individuals in need. And they didn't just serve the children they typically support, they opened their arms to anyone. Within days, they organized dinner bags and set up distribution sites at the Green Branch Library and the Green Fire Station. Time and again, I'm moved by the compassion and strength of this community, whether it's meeting a basic need like food or rallying around someone during a time of tragedy. Green shows up, and that fills me, as it should you, with immense pride. In that same spirit of giving, the Green Community Fund awarded $15,000 in grants last year to 8 organizations serving our city. Recipients include the YMCA, the Green Soccer Association, First Tee, MAPS Air Museum, Blessings in a Backpack, Green Good Neighbors, the Rail Foundation, and Fellowship Works. Thanks to the generosity of the Green Community Fund and its donors, this endowment will continue to serve our community for generations to come. In fact, this year, another $25,000 will be given to organizations that serve Green. And the spirit of giving, of course, doesn't stop there. Since 1991, I don't want to forget the Green Schools Foundation has been a steadfast champion of our students and teachers, awarding scholarships that open doors and grants that bring classroom ideas to life. Now, the Green Community Fund complements this mission by supplementing local nonprofits, broadening the reach of community care. Together, these 2 remarkable organizations form a powerful legacy of giving. Everything I've shared tonight, every initiative, improvement, and insight comes back to this. We are telling our story. And it's a story rooted in legacy. Lewis Miller and John Buchtel were visionaries who believed in building something bigger than themselves, investing not just in structures, but in people, in education, and in the future of community. That same spirit lives on in Green today. It lives on in you and I. You are telling that story through how you show up, how you speak up, how you volunteer, build, and lead. Every chapter of Green's story has been shaped by people with vision, with values, with heart, and with the courage to continue to do the good work. Let's keep writing it, sharing it, and embracing it together. Thank you, and good night.